What's up, friends? Hopping on for a solo pod today. I just I felt compelled to make this video, to make this podcast because I just got done watching a Ryan Fitch video where he goes on to talk about how people will judge you when you do anything different. When you take care of your health, you're too extreme. When you won't go out for drinks on the weekend, you're boring. When you want to work, you're too serious. And how people will judge you for everything that seems to be different. Meanwhile, deep inside, they know that they're the ones who are settling for a life that they don't even like. And listening to that video, it's funny how these types of videos always kind of like ground you, at least for me. And they bring me back to kind of my mindset and to where I'm grounded and the things that I think about often, because you'd be really surprised to know how often I actually think about these ideas and these concepts of people regretting their lives at the end of the day, like when everything is all said and done, and how people never go on to chase their dreams and why that is, and how people are scared of being judged and all these different things. And it got me really thinking about this conversation that I had with the owner of the gym that I rent space from now. His name is Kirk, and the conversation that we had was that he was telling me how he has something within him that prevents him from wanting to be average. Like, he just so badly does not want to be average, and he's had it in his frame for as long as he can remember. And we joked a little bit about how about how that can be like a bad thing, and how we're all just kind of like trying to impress each other type thing. But really, it got me thinking too that this idea of average just has bothered me for so long, since I was a kid. Like, I've been obsessed with this idea of not being average. I've always chased something greater since I was just a boy. And it makes me wonder, though, why other people don't do that. What the problem is. And oftentimes I come back to, actually every time I come back to, people are so scared of the opinions of another man, and they just cannot get past that. And to me, it's just so odd for people to live their lives based on the expectations of their lives by other people that do nothing for them. So really take a minute and think about this. So often throughout our lives, and I'm not like completely absent from this either, but so often throughout our lives, we make decisions based on what we think other people are going to be proud of us for, or what other people are expecting out of us. We go to school because our parents want us to go to school, and we get a nice job because we think that that's what we're supposed to do. And then we have a family because that's what everyone else around us is doing. And we buy a house because, and so the list goes on and on and on. All expectations built off of what other people think needs to happen in your life. And how often do you make decisions based on what other people are expecting from you? And I think a lot of times we don't really realize that that is the actual thought process that is happening, is that we have been conditioned to think that we want these things for ourselves because other people have pushed it into us for so long that it has now become a part of us. But so often when I talk to my friends, or if I talk to people that are not chasing some sort of outlandish goal or outward goal, they seem to be so empty. And I truly believe that it's because us as humans, we're meant to do great things. We are meant to be on the pursuit of greatness. We are meant to physically challenge ourselves every day past our limits. We are meant to mentally challenge ourselves past our limits. We're meant to be striving every day. And so many people have just been sedated by jobs, by education, by Netflix, by video games, by porn, by all these different distractions. That's all they are. It's just distractions. You know, and it gets me sad. It actually gets me sad, and it gets me concerned because I you know, when I started on my personal development journey, if you call it that, as an adult, because something about me, I've always been on the pursuit of something. When I was a kid, I was, you know, trying to do bands, and we were playing live shows, and we were, you know, going, you know, to different states to do this. Like, we went not very far, but we went to different states. We went and recorded. We did all the stuff, right? We made merch. When I got older, it was entrepreneurial journeys. I tried to become an athlete. I've done like everything that you can do, right? I've done a clothing brand. I've done so many things, YouTube, all these different things. I've always been pursuing something. But when I talk to the average everyday person, the thing that they look forward to most is like the weekend, or they don't really have goals, or they say that they have goals and they're not really goals. They're just kind of dreams, and they'll never take that step forward. And it blows my freaking mind. When I talk to people, it genuinely gets me sad because I can tell that the only thing that they have to look forward to is what they're going to do on the weekend. And that may be exciting for some people, but I don't buy it for most. I don't buy that most people are really genuinely that excited to go and hang out with the same friends every single weekend at the same bar, play the same shitty bar games, go to the same shitty restaurants, and get loaded, and then rinse and repeat every single week. I just don't believe it. I can't believe it. I refuse to believe it. And those are the same people, unfortunately, that when you bring up an idea, something that you want to do, they're going to bring you down for it. And they're going to have some shit to talk about it. And it's all because they see that as a deficit in part of their character. Like, I could never do that, so why should he be able to do it? Or I could never do it, so I don't think that he's going to be able to do it. It literally has nothing to do with you. And this video got me thinking about so many things. Like when I had announced that I was going to open a gym, the amount of people that just didn't want me to do it was staggering. People that have no form of influence in my life, people that didn't know anything about my financial situation, people that didn't know anything. They're just like, that's just not a good idea. Why isn't it a good idea? I just don't think it's a good idea. Okay. And they may have been right now. Like, they may have actually been right. But one thing that I'm able to say is that I tried it, and I tried something. I did something that other people weren't able to do, that they would never in a million years have tried. When I said that I was taking CrossFit seriously, and I was going, I needed to eat certain ways, and that I wasn't going to drink, I was suddenly the serious guy or the boring guy. When I started taking my entrepreneurship, my content creation, and athleticism and health all seriously, suddenly I was boring. I never hang out. I don't do anything anymore. All of these different things that people just love to say about people that have goals. And the thing is about people who want to be high achievers or that are high achievers, the thing that separates them from people who are not is that we generally tend not to talk shit about people who are not high achievers. We don't even care. It doesn't even come on our radar what you're doing. But because the things that we do when we put ourselves out there, when we're actually trying and you get to see, we're actually putting ourselves out there, everyone else talks shit about us. Everybody talks shit about the person that's actually trying. No one talks shit about the person that's not trying. I wonder why that is. Well, it's because you're too scared to actually do something. You're not putting yourself out there. You're not taking a chance on anything. You don't actually give a shit enough about your life to actually give yourself the opportunity to do something great, to be great. Everything is impossible until it's made possible. But if you never try, you'll never find out. And I have always lived my life in this way. I need to try everything. I need to try everything. And so back to the conversation that with the gym owner, Kirk, I had told him, I have had the fear of being average since I was a kid. I have had that fear for so damn long. And when I look at people around me, this area that I am in is just so toxic and so filled with do nothing people. And again, if that's how they want to live their life, so be it. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. But it's just filled with do nothing people and people who are obviously not fulfilled, obviously not happy, obviously not on the pursuit. And when I see that, it gets me scared. When I see people that I know, the only thing that they look forward to is going to the bars. They have a wife that they cannot stand, a girlfriend that they can't stand. Their wife or partner or even boyfriend or husband doesn't respect them. They do everything so that they can make other people happy. That gets me scared. And that makes me not want to be like that at all. And it makes me not want to associate with those types of people. And it makes me not want to be anywhere near them. Because people are contagious. Attitudes are contagious. Habits are contagious. If you hang around a certain type of people for too long, you will begin to be that certain type of people. And that is something that actually did show up in my life at one point. I want to talk about this openly now. There is this area in the county that I'm in. When I was younger, I swore that I would never become a part of. Because this area is known. It's known for just like sucking the life out of people. Like bar regular. It's a drinking town. It's a bar town. It's a lake town. It's known for sucking the life out of people. And basically it's one of those things that like when you end up there, you will never leave. That type of thing. And it's true to this day. There's a lot of people from when I was 21, I'm 31, turning 32. There's a lot of people from when I was 21 who started going there and hanging out and becoming regulars that are still there to this day. Probably passed out at the bar right now playing dice. So there's this area. And one of my friends I was living in downtown Milwaukee. And he used to try to get me to come out to go drink down in this area all the time. And I would tell him no. I was 21 and I was living downtown and I wanted to just hang out downtown and do downtown things. I moved back to around the area when I was around 23 or 24. So I started going to those bars. I started hanging out in the area a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, because that's where all the people hung out. That's where all my friends would hang out. And slowly I started to realize I'm becoming one of the people that I didn't want to be. And I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. I've never had an alcohol problem. but alcohol has definitely had a problem with me. And I never wanted to become somebody that a bartender knew the name of. And it wasn't like I was going to the bars 3 to 4 times a week or anything like that. It would be like 1, maybe 2 times a week max. But I had been going to the area for so long that I had become a name. They had gotten to know my name. And when I realized that actually became the first time that I had decided to quit drinking. And I had to take inventory of the people that I was surrounding myself with. What were their goals? What were their aspirations? And what was happening? And sadly, I didn't learn my lesson that time. And so I took a break and I went straight back to doing the same behaviors that I did before. I did it a second time and I went back to the behaviors that I did before. And finally, on the third time, after I took total inventory, what do I want in life? What does the person, what do I want in life? What are the things that person does? How does that person eat? How does that person act? What does the person's body look like? How much money does that person make? How often does that person work? You guys get it. What do they do? I just started to do those things. Because what that time in that area taught me was that I was slowly becoming an average person, and it was because I was hanging out with average individuals. And I never wanted to be average. And that scared the living shit out of me. We all have the ability to be above average. But we all have the propensity to be average. It's way easier to be average than it is to not be. But to not be average, you need to be willing to cut ties with average people. You need to be willing to let your friends go if they're not willing to ride the wave with you. You need to be willing to stop average behaviors and do it long term. You need to be willing to put in more work. You need to be willing to be called names. You need to be willing to be told that you're boring. You need to be willing to be broke and continue to work for free until you finally hit the ticket. You guys, I don't want to be average. And I sure as hell don't want any of you watching this to want to be average or listening to this to want to be average. And I don't want anyone around me to be average. If there's any advice that I can give to somebody who is struggling cutting ties with people or struggling because people are saying things about you, calling you too serious or you're boring and you never have any fun anymore, all these things, if there's any advice that I can give to you, it's just drown out the noise. Because when you start achieving things that people and yourself never thought possible, they will start running back. And you will be so proud. And you will get to have the choice of who gets to be in your life because you saw their true colors and you got to see your own true colors. That's it. I hope this all made sense. I just wanted to hop on. I got fired up about that Ryan Fish video, that Ryan Fish reel. So I just wanted to hop on. I hope this all like meshed together somehow, but I really did feel compelled to do this. So you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.